Yeah. Blackjack. Life is like a game of cards. It's not what you dealt, but how you play it. Yeah. Blackjack. To play each situation correctly. I remember they used to laugh at a brother.
But I have another question. Do you think that if it wasn't for that situation, because that's the situation that ultimately put Tupac in jail, to be able to be bailed out on what people thought was by Suge Knight, but we come to find out that wasn't really actually the case. It was Interscope who actually bailed him out. But Suge did, let's be clear, he did rep and step up and be the front person to take on that
front man for it, right?
Absolutely. So do you think that if it wasn't for that situation, that I feel in certain ways, because everything happens for a reason, that Tupac would still be alive because he wouldn't have been signed to death row if it wasn't for that situation involving the young lady?
Right. I think that was what set a lot of events in motion, you know,
right,
that ultimately led to what it led to. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Absolutely.
if you really break it down in its entirety and you go back and you look at the timeline, absolutely, that's what started it. You know what I'm saying? That whole sexual assault case, that started the rift between him and Haitian Jack and all those people. Haitian Jack felt like Pac, I guess, was saying too much or was scared Pac was going to say too much or whatever.
Right.
That's what led to the Quad Studio setup or whatever. And then, you know, Biggie not saying nothing. And then Pac goes to jail. And then people got to remember, you know what I'm saying? He just got shot 5 times. He got this woman lying on him about some sexual assault that in his heart, he know he ain't do. You know what I'm saying? So he's hella paranoid. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was a lot going on. It was a lot going on. I'm sorry. What was your question again?
That was just basically the statement in regards to it. You were right on path with it in regards to if that wouldn't have happened, then the thing about death row and him being, you know, ultimately
that's what led to it, right?
Yeah, being under the umbrella of death row. And you were right, like you said, they put a lot of things in motion. And no, you were right on point. So you keep going.
He goes to he gets locked up, you know what I'm saying? Got the fucking #1 album in the country, you know what I'm saying? And his label people don't want to bail him out or whatever the case is. You know, it's a lot. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of fuck shit going on, man.
Let me clear that up. And a lot of people think that Interscope didn't want to bail him out. But what the facts were, and when people really study the facts in the case, they couldn't bail him out because when Tupac got convicted, they immediately tried to go for an appeal that day in court and said, we want to, Your Honor, we want to see if we can file an appeal. And the judge denied that. So at that particular time, he couldn't get out. So he had to go to jail. And then what they did was they went to the another circuit in the New York, I believe, Supreme Court. And it was, I think, a 3-judge panel. And he won that. And then he was then able to file an appeal. And when they found out that he could get out, and as you said, the #1 album and all of that, that's when Interscope then put up the money with Warner Brothers and told Suge, hey, look, it's come on death row. Suge went to see him. And then he comes to under the umbrella of death row. So I think a lot of people have that thing misunderstood. Not that you do, but I mean, just to clarify that. So, but yeah, but like I said,
that's what I'm saying. Whatever the details were, you know what I'm saying? But I know that, here he is sitting in jail for some shit he didn't do. And here comes Suge. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I've been there. I've been locked up. You know what I'm saying? When you're locked up, all you care about is your freedom. You know?
Right.
So you do whatever it takes. So I don't blame Pac for signing with Suge and Death Row and because he's trying to get out. But absolutely, those are the things that happened, that snowball effect that ultimately led to his demise. You know what I'm saying? Because if he never would have linked up with Suge and Death Row, he would never got immersed into that whole gang culture like that.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Because the
And
fact of the
so,
matter is, he was already on the West Coast. He was in Oakland, and he didn't
right,
fall. He didn't fall. He wasn't under that umbrella. Wasn't really trying to claim nothing or be with anything or anybody under that.
right. He fucked with everybody. He was,
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
right. He was fucking with everybody. Right.
Absolutely. No, so now in dealing with the Suge Knight situation, and so do you think, from your perspective, was Suge Knight a good or bad influence on your brother?
Oh no, he was bad.
He was bad.
Yeah, all the way around. From all accounts that I've seen and read and everything, from my understanding, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. He jerked him out of a lot of money. You know, he was
Okay.
jerking him. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Had cars and houses, telling Pac that it was in his name, but really it's not. It's in Suge's name or his people's or whatever the fuck he was doing. He was doing a lot of wheeling and dealing, but no, he was doing Pac wrong. You know what I'm saying? He was doing Pac wrong. You know, and I think as the months went on,
right,
Pac was starting to be hip to that. You know what I'm saying? His eyes was opening to what was going on and shit like that.
Right.
And you know, I don't know what happens from there, you know. Yeah, no. Suge's always been a shady dude. Now, did he have love for Pac? Probably. You know what I'm saying? Who didn't have love for Pac? You know what I'm saying? Who didn't want to be around Pac? You know what I'm saying? So he saw what it was. He saw that Pac was the bag, you know?
Right. Absolutely.
And yeah, but so, you know, from all accounts and shit like that, yeah, I'm sure they had this like, you know, on the surface, this like brother kind of relationship, but behind closed doors, nah, Suge was on some fuck shit and he was doing them wrong.
Okay. Absolutely. So now, and the reason why I asked that, because you have a lot of people, like I said, you being his brother, you have a lot of people who have a lot of theories, and I appreciate your honesty in regards to that. You know what I mean? And so when we talk about the Suge, because like Tupac was only on death row for 11 months. And so a lot of people have all of these extra stories, you know what I mean, that they come out with. And so it was a very, very limited time that he was actually there on death row. So he comes over to death row. He records All Eyes on Me. He gets to work immediately, right? So there's been this one thing that's always prevailed from the notion of a lot of people in regards to what escalated the situation between him and Biggie, right? But I'm gonna go back to Quad Studios for a minute, because Tupac said in Against All Odds, right, on the Machiavelli album, you know, he talked about Puffy, he talked about a lot of things and mentioned a lot of people's names. So I want to ask you personally, right here, right now, do you think that Sean Puffy Combs had anything to do with that situation in Quad Studios?
A lot to unpack there. Again, there was people involved.
Right.
I saw a documentary or article or something, or YouTube, something like that, but somebody was talking about that, how Puffy was there at the Quad Studios. He wasn't even supposed to be there.
Right.
Some type. So that's like coincidence number one. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck is you doing there?
Right.
And then supposedly he was having like some secret meeting with some other guys. I can't think of the names off the top of my head.
Jimmy Henchman.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. I heard that name, Jimmy Henchman. Right. And so, you know, you hear things like that and you see coincidences, and then you see the interviews that they've said themselves. I mean, you can see it, you know what I mean? The contradictions, you know. So I think there's more there than Puff put on. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I can't say definitively he had something to do with it directly. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But he is involved with the people or knows the people that was behind that shit.
That was ultimately responsible for it.
Right. I absolutely believe that. Right.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, like I said, and I love the answer because you're not leading with this conspiracy theory thing that a lot of people do based on having no evidence. And I think that you would be the person who would be able to ultimately feel something because it was your brother. You know what I mean? Right. And that's why I appreciate the answer that you just gave just now, man. And from that perspective, Will Garland Jr. in the house, in the building, hip hop, Monica name, 5 Faces. Look out for him. It's your boy DELRAY. Yeah, straight gang.